Craig here for another episode of Make America Healthy Again with Sheryl Silver. She's co-owner of Salt of the Earth Center for Healing in Chestnut Ridge, New York. Hey there.
Hi there, Craig. How are you? Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Salt of the Earth is it's a salt cave, but it's also a center for healing and wellness and all that. We're going to find out a little bit about the center, but first a little bit about you and your partner, Susan, the backgrounds, and also kind of what led you to create this salt cave and also this kind of overall center for wellness and healing.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. Well, as you said, I'm co-owner of Salt of the Earth. In addition to that, I'm also a functional medicine certified health coach. And my business partner is Dr. Susan Toron. She's a chiropractor with a practice in Paramus, New Jersey. So the whole thing kind of came to us a little over 2 years ago. We were up in Vermont and went to a holistic wellness center up there, and for just looking to go for a massage. And this place had a salt cave, something we had never seen or heard of before. And we said, oh, what the heck? After the massages, we decided we'd go in for a salt cave session. And it was just this amazing, eye-opening experience for us. We're sitting in there. The environment was just so incredibly relaxing. And when we got out, we felt great and looked at each other. And I think almost simultaneously said to one another, wow, we need one of these down where we live. And I think at the time it was like a joke, but it turned into not being a joke. Mm-hmm. And we probably spent the next 6 months researching halotherapy, which is what salt therapy is called. And, the research behind it, how does it really work, and looked into other salt rooms and salt caves that kind of were within driving distance and went to see them. And the more we looked into it, the more we realized that this was doable, and it really fit in with our philosophies, functional medicine and, being able to offer something natural, a natural approach to healing. So we finally said, we're doing it, and found the place in Chestnut Ridge, which we just fell in love with the space. We love the community and the location. And, what was really important to us, in addition to the salt cave, was that we really wanted to be a natural healing center. Thus our full name, Salt of the Earth Center for Healing, because the salt cave fit into it, but it was even more than that. We realized that we wanted to be able to bring to people, the opportunity to have some natural healing alternatives, and, treatments that would complement traditional medicine and give them something else to, to kind of address their pain and their chronic illness in a natural way, which is why we're thrilled. And in addition to the salt cave, we also have an acupuncturist on board with us, and massage therapist, a Reiki master, someone who does a pain relief specialty called neuromuscular reprogramming. And of course, I also do my functional medicine health coaching there, and some functional nutrition counseling as well. So it's wonderful.
So I guess the big question is, how does it work, this salt therapy?
Yes, how does it work? So the interesting thing is that salt cave therapy has been around in Eastern Europe since the early 1900s. And it was actually in around the 1950s when doctors in Poland recognized that men who were working in the salt mines actually had much fewer incidences of respiratory illness than the rest of the population. And there are these salt mines and salt caves that occur naturally throughout Eastern Europe, in Germany, in Poland, in Russia, Ukraine. And it's actually currently part of the healthcare, and for a long time has been a part of the healthcare system in Eastern Europe, where doctors, if you have a respiratory issue, whether it be asthma or COPD or, many other respiratory ailments, In Poland, for instance, you will get a prescription to go to a salt cave for a week. They actually have hospitals built around the salt caves so that you can have intense therapy there. So the way it works is that Himalayan salt actually has 84 trace minerals in it that occur naturally. And those minerals are actually anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. And simply by breathing in the salt air, It's capable of opening up your bronchial tubes, thinning mucus, and really just addressing your respiratory ailments just simply by relaxing and breathing in the salt cave. So what we've done in our salt cave is it's been designed to actually recreate the microclimate of the naturally occurring salt caves that exist in Poland. And so when you're sitting in there, we run a generator. The generator aerosolizes the Himalayan salt into micron-sized particles so that while you're just sitting there and relaxing during a session, you're breathing in that salt air, and as it penetrates your bronchial tubes, it's doing its job. It's opening up your airways, relaxing your airways, and thinning the mucus.
So we all know, or hopefully people know, about the benefits of getting into the ocean in salt water, or even Epsom salt baths, or when we soak our bodies in salt. That's nothing new to most people, the healing benefits. But what you're saying is when it actually gets into the respiratory system, there is another level of healing that goes on. And can you just talk about the little distinction between what happens in the respiratory system as opposed to it happening in the, just when you're soaking in it, soaking in the salt water?
Right. Well, so what most people are familiar with are, for instance, when you're told by your doctor to take an Epsom salt bath. Now, Epsom salt is just magnesium chloride as opposed to regular table salt, is simply sodium chloride. Himalayan salt, as I mentioned, has 84 trace minerals in it, including magnesium and iron and calcium and potassium, among the many others. And so when you're exposed to it, when it's penetrating your airways, in the environment of the salt cave where it's concentrated, as opposed to being at the beach, the analogy is that a 45-minute session in the salt cave is comparable to being at the beach for 3 days. So it's an intense exposure to the salt. You're breathing it in, and the anti-inflammatory properties are just able to open things up and clear things up. By the same token, your skin is exposed to it just like it is when you're in a bath. But again, the Himalayan salt has many more minerals in it, in addition to magnesium chloride. So, you're getting the anti-inflammatory benefits for skin ailments such as eczema and psoriasis. We've also gotten tremendous feedback from some of the people who have been in the cave and get their skin in contact with the salt, whether it be by burying their feet in it, just like they would at the beach, burying their feet in the sand. And, the feedback we're getting is that they're feeling the anti-inflammatory properties in their joints, so that if they've got some arthritis or joint inflammation, the joints feel, remarkably better when they come out of the cave.
So how many people sit in a cave at the same time?
Well, our particular cave is 300 square feet, and we can seat up to 8 people. We have chairs, zero gravity recliners in there for 8 people. But we also do a lot of special events in the salt cave, in addition to just a regular 45-minute session. And some of those are fun, and we cater it to a slightly smaller crowd. For instance, we'll do our Reiki master. We'll do a Reiki circle in the cave where we put in a massage table, and we limit that to 6 people. We've had restorative yoga classes actually on the floor in the salt cave. So, we can accommodate different numbers of people. And if you talk to any of the practitioners who do these events in the cave, they'll tell you that it just takes what they do to a whole other level. Like a Reiki session in the salt cave, you're getting a salt cave treatment at the same time. We run the generator, and it's just an amazing combination of relaxation and energy.
And the whole idea of going into a cave, there's something just so primal about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the environment really is beautiful. Like I said, it was designed to recreate, that naturally occurring salt cave. So the walls are totally covered in salt, as is the floor. There's actually 13,000 pounds of the stuff in the salt cave. And I can vouch for that because we put up all of it ourselves. It was a lot of fun, but it's nice to go in there and know that we actually built it. So that was great.
Great. Well, this has been great. I think it's really informative. I think there are salt caves kind of starting to open up around the country, and people probably scratch their head. I know I've driven by one and go, oh, okay, that's interesting. Why would I go? So now I know a lot more about why I would go and look to come and visit your salt cave. fairly soon. And we're going to make sure we link to your website so people can find out more and get in touch with you. So thanks so much for being on and informing us about salt cave therapy and your center.
Great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
We'll talk soon.
Okay, great. Take care.
Yep.